Hi, good morning. It's nice to have you here. And I'm RN Bhaskar from BKBB, which is an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. And this is a channel that brings to you policy analysis, an occasional story, occasional conversation every week. But right now, at 8:15 in the morning, every weekday, Monday to Friday, we bring you news behind the news. We pick up three titles that we think are important and we analyze them for you. And today, my co anchor is Anurag. Between both of us, we shall discuss the following titles. The first one will be on the Iran Iraq war. The second one will be on GST. And the third one will be on cybercrime. The three stories together will give you an inkling of what is happening both in India and across the world. Let's take the first story first. The first story is about the Iran-Iraq war. The Iran-Israel war. The Iran has decided to switch off all the cameras that were there at nuclear sites for the world to know what it was doing in the nuclear stations. Why did it do that? Because Iran believes that no longer is it necessary for the world to know what it is doing. When they were open with the world about what they were doing, in spite of that, America decided to bomb them and Israel decided to attack it. So he says, if we don't want to listen to us, if we don't believe what we are saying, we don't want to tell you anything. And because it believes, and there's enough evidence to show that they are right, because it believes that the IAEA inspectors were leaking out information to Israel of which places where to bomb, all IAEA inspectors have been thrown out to Iran. Effectively, Iran is saying, do what you want. We are not going to share any more information with you. At the same time, Israel has also dug in its heels. And yesterday, it passed a resolution in its Knesset saying that we shall annex Gaza officially, making it part of Israel. It will not be an independent territory anymore, or quasi-independent. Obviously, everyone is upset. Amnesty has spoken severely against it. And it just shows that Israel does not care a whit for international opinion, for human considerations. In fact, it's GSC, the Gaza Humanitarian Centers, which are a joint venture of Israel and USA, have often allowed people to crowd around the centers and pick up the targets and shoot them while they're waiting. Israel has become nothing but a killer machine. It is no longer the cultural center. It is no longer the nation of survivors. Anyone who lives and survives Israel is a survivor. Israel is no longer that. So with both countries taking up stances, expect another war to erupt soon. The scale of the war is uncertain. Except that Iran has shown what it's capable of, even to the extent of attacking American bases and maybe, if required, even America itself. Into dangerous times, frightening times, and all caused by one country, Israel, whom America and the world cannot control. That finishes my story. Let's go to the next one, and that's by Anurag. Anurag, can we have you?
Cigarettes, carbonated drinks, and luxury cars are under review for higher GST rates as the government considers replacing the compensation cess with new health and green cesses. These products currently fall under the highest GST bracket and are subject to an additional levy, which was introduced in 2017 to offset state revenue losses after the GST rollout. The compensation cess is scheduled to expire at the end of March 2026, and the group of ministers is evaluating what should follow it. Deliberations are also underway to simplify the GST structure by reducing the number of tax slabs, with some goods potentially moving to lower or higher brackets if the 12% slab is abolished. Since its introduction, the compensation cess has contributed a significant share to government revenue, accounting for about 8% of total GST collections between 2018 and 2024. The fund is projected to have a surplus at the end of its tenure, with estimates suggesting a substantial amount of about 40,000 crores will remain after all dues and pandemic related loans are settled. The GST Council is expected to decide on the future use of this surplus in upcoming meetings. Experts suggest that the current policy debate include channeling future cesses towards health and environmental initiatives. Beyond this, the surplus from the compensation cess could be directed to areas such as vocational education in smaller cities. This approach may help equip the country's youth with skills for emerging job markets, especially in regions with limited access to advanced training. As the government weighs its option, the question remains: how will the allocation address the evolving needs of the economy, or will this excess be used to support capital expenditures like supplying freebies and revenues? What's your take on this, sir?
Anurag, GST is a very important component for the government because the government becomes richer each time GST levies take place, especially because the grants and doles that the government gives, and you should watch my podcast on that subject, while the people become poorer. And right now, the government seems to be willing to increase the number of items in the 28% tax and do away with the 12% tax altogether. Unfortunately, the government has found a weapon with which they can get money more and more year after year, even though the GDP does not climb, even though people's incomes do not climb. It's unfortunate, but thank you for this important development. And that takes me to my story. And my story is about a very interesting development. Yesterday, before the assembly, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra announced that Maharashtra alone lost about 2.96 lakh crore or 2.96 trillion rupees, involving 2.71 lakh investors. The number is staggering. This is over a period of 10 years. But look at the NCRB report. The latest report of NCRB, which is for year 2022, it has not come out figures for 2023 and 24. It says all India figure is just about 65,893 incidents. The fact that NCRB has not come out with data for 23 and 24, and the fact that the numbers remain so low at 65,893 as against 2.71 lakh investors, seems to suggest that NCRB is sleeping. It is not doing its work. But more worrisome is the fact that NCRB appears to be involved in political promotion of Hindi and not English. Go to its website. We've given a screenshot of the website there. The English tab is just not working. All the information comes only in Hindi. At a time when Maharashtra is livid at the imposition of Hindi, this kind of imposition through websites, disabling the English version, is criminal. It's unconstitutional. And yes, your entire cybercrime issue is a major issue. As you pointed a couple of days ago, much of the cybercrime takes place because hackers get in and transfer the money to accounts which are dummy accounts. Many of the dummy accounts came into existence because of dummy Aadhaar cards. Once again, the government's Aadhaar policy can be directly pinpointed for the surge in cybercrimes. It is a very sad state to be in. At a time when think the government should be more responsible, and you think the government should actually weed out crime, the opposite seems to be happening. And that takes us to the third part of the session. But before we go to the third part of the session, just a reminder, please click the subscribe button. Please click the like button. It helps us enormously in algorithms. And most of all, please tell all your friends and people you know about us. We would like more people to know the kind of analysis we do. And the last part is questions that are coming up from the audience. And some of the questions are interesting. How does it deal with cybercrime? Well, there are only two ways. One is customers become more vigilant. But what if the hacking is done at the website level itself? Like recently, the Aditya Birla website was hacked and his digital gold was stolen. What do you do there? Well, there are only two ways. One is make corporates more responsible to pay damages to customers, which means that they have to bolster up their own defenses significantly. And the second is the government, and the last part is the government's responsibility in weeding out all the bogus accounts. Since 2016 till now, almost about 9 years, the government has promoted dummy accounts because of dummy Aadhaar cards. Stop that, please. And that takes us to the next question. And the next question is in GST. How much more will customers have to pay? A very good question. We've elected this government, and so we pay the price through higher taxes. Once the government is in power, you have no choice but to accept whatever taxes unless there is a huge agitation or unless the courts intervene and say enough is enough. And there is a third question which has come up, which is about Israel and Iran. Will there be another war? Yes, there could be a war. There could be a war because Iran is determined that it will not succumb to the pressures of USA and Israel any longer. Remember the last war? Israel ran out of ammunition and had to go squealing to America, please save us with a truce. Even America realized all the ships that are nearby. They found that they had only got 10 days ammunition on the ships. Even America wanted a halt to it. In any case, the US is not in a position to feed the war machines of both Ukraine and Israel because its shell-making capabilities are limited. And it depended on other countries. Now even America finds itself vulnerable, which is why America wants peace desperately. But Trump seems either unable or unwilling or both to control Israel. And that is where this problem continues. And that brings me to the end of today's session. Thank you all of you for being with us. It's good to have you here. And most important, see you tomorrow. I look forward to your presence once again tomorrow morning. Good luck. Have a great day. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourself.